Each week we hear from an area journalist with more on the stories they are covering. This week, Wisconsin Public Radio reporter Danielle Kaeding is our guest.
Decided to lift its mask resolution that it had in place during the public health emergency. And this is following the updated guidance from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Last Thursday, they came out and said that fully vaccinated people can not wear masks and avoid physically distancing as long as they've been vaccinated. It was pretty much broad consensus that this was a good time now to be lifting this mandate. Councilor Keith Kern was one of the first counselors to jump in to rescind this mask resolution. And as a business owner, he has, opposed the use or requiring the use of face coverings, saying that people can make those decisions for themselves or use their own best judgment. And that business owners really have every intention of protecting the public. It's in their best interest to do that. Health officials on Madeline Island estimate that they've reached around 80% of their residents who have been vaccinated. There were, I think, roughly 200 out of 300 residents who have been vaccinated at the La Pointe Community Clinic on Madeline Island. And then a number of residents have also gone off the island to receive the vaccine from either Ashland County or other local drugstores. And so, this is a little bit of a feat because if you think about it, Madeline Island, it's an island on Lake Superior. And so in order to get the vaccine to the island, those shipments had to be brought across by ferry. And then when the ferry quit running, they would go over to Bayfield and pick up the vaccine. With the tourism season likely picking back up, Madeline Island is a tourist hotspot for people in the Midwest. And so when visitors come to the island, hopefully their residents will be a little bit better protected. We're seeing multiple legal challenges in both Minnesota and Michigan regarding Enbridge pipelines. And in Michigan, with Line 5, there's a real big concern that aging pipeline, both of these lines, which are more than 60 years old, that there is an increased risk of an oil spill, and particularly in the Great Lakes, where they're concerned that this could have the potential to impact a wide region, the Great Lakes, communities along the shoreline, and also just the water in general. And so this is a very big concern for Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and also communities around the lakes. And Enbridge has said, with Line 5, that they have never had a pipeline, or that their line has never spilled in the Great Lakes. But the National Wildlife Federation has found that there have been at least roughly 30 spills that have occurred on land with this pipeline. Husky Energy, which is another Canadian oil company, bought Husky in a sale. I believe it was a multi-billion-dollar sale at the beginning of that closed at the beginning of this year. And so that was due in part to the COVID-19 pandemic and the reduced fuel demand that we saw across the country as COVID-19 shutdowns took place and people weren't traveling, and just reduced demand in general. And so now that Husky has been acquired by Husky Energy, everything is still moving forward as planned. I believe the timelines and the amount of money that they're planning to spend on this rebuild has ticked up slightly, just because of some of the delays that we've seen. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the cost of the project has now increased to $950 million to rebuild that refinery, and then they're hoping to maybe have it back in operation in the first quarter of 2023.